After over 30-plus grueling hours of travel, the single-engine charter plane safely came to a bumping and sliding halt at my final destination, a lone dirt runway. The landing had only been made more uncomfortable by the fact that the remains of a crashed plane had been casually scooted over to the side of the runway. Almost immediately, we were completely surrounded by dozens of curious onlookers. At first glance, the seriousness in their concerned faces might have easily been interpreted as menacing, but their expressions were suddenly transformed into huge smiles the instant I initiated a smile of my own and waved a friendly hello. But after leaving the primitive dirt runway, otherwise known as the Capueta International Airport, it was soon painfully obvious that the harsh realities of their war-torn homeland left my Sudanese welcoming committee very little to smile about.
Sudan, the largest country in Africa, also holds the distinction of having Africa's longest-running civil war. With the exception of only 11 years, Sudan has been at war since it won its independence in 1956. A ceasefire only ended the war 2 years ago. This does not mean, however, that violence does not still occur on a regular basis. The aftermath of the past 21 years of fighting has left southern Sudan in devastation. Bombed-out structures, abandoned tanks, blown-up vehicles, signs or red-painted stones indicating caution for landmines, and other visual scars of a long and painful conflict litter the landscape in any direction one looks. Today, aid agencies are feeding millions in the Sudan. If ever there were a place that truly exemplified the complete essence of Matthew 25, verses 35 and 36, it is southern Sudan, because its children were left hungry, thirsty, and naked. The IPHC, through the help of missionary Ron Wooten and the implementation of Pastor Josh Hanna's vision, has already established a compound in Capueta, a church and school in Nakwa, and has secured land and finances for a new compound to be established in Torit. These compounds include a church, a school, a medical clinic, and a deep water well.
People to People is a humanitarian organization that ministers in 52 different countries, providing child sponsorship, disaster relief, medical teams, feeding programs, and helps to establish micro-businesses in the underdeveloped or third world countries. I had no idea in what way People to People would partner with the Sudan work, but I had at least hoped the organization could put out a plea for some sort of relief offering. God is so awesome to do even more than we ask or expect. When People to People stepped up and offered to open up child sponsorships for the school at the Capueta compound and the other school in Nakwa, it was nothing short of an answer to prayer. Having been involved in People to People teams and having grown accustomed to their outreaches, it was my heart's desire to have a ministry opportunity playing games with the children and to bless them with some sort of small gift bag. I knew the children in Capueta were being fed, but was unaware that we would be visiting the new school in Nakwa and had not yet been on any feeding assistance. I was very pleased that my bags consisted of a few carnival toy-type items donated by Clubhouse Kids Children's Ministry at Christian Heritage, some cereal toys donated by a church member's connection at Kellogg's, and some candy purchased in Nairobi. Like a huge punch in the gut, any satisfaction gained in my gift preparation for the children left me feeling totally drained and appallingly lacking as I viewed the dusty, barren ministry area and the pitiful children waiting for us in Nakwa. My heart, much less my little gift bags, was definitely not prepared for children who were completely naked, dirty, and covered in flies. Most all had distended bellies and were obviously very sick and hungry. Though they could not speak to us in our language, there was no failure of communication, as they gave us painful looks and made grasping motions with their hands that you knew meant they were begging for food. My heart broke when realization hit me and left me stunned that I was bringing these kids toys when they were starving and really just needing food. I determined that day I would never arrive in another ministry situation like this again without at least first bringing something to meet their very basic physical need for food. If lack of proper food was not bad enough, these children's drinking water situation was only worse. Besides having the usual African parasites and associated problems when using the same source to drink and bathe, this area was being plagued by the guinea worm. I felt ashamed that I never had any idea what protection from serious life-threatening circumstances we take for granted every time we turn on our faucets of clean drinking water.
God has blessed the Sudan work with all that has already been established. Still, there is a tremendous necessity for child sponsorships and support to get these medical clinics and schools fully operational. The need could seem overwhelming, but it is amazing how God is constantly opening new doors of opportunity. There are 2 doctors waiting to staff the medical clinic as soon as it becomes supplied and functional in Kapweta. People to People has authorized beginning a sponsorship program for Nakwa and Kapweta, but there still have to be new sponsors. Funds have already been donated to construct a new compound in Torit, a Muslim stronghold in southern Sudan. But necessary paperwork and a team of laborers are needed to make it a reality.
As we looked over the property there in Torit, I felt the Holy Spirit speaking to me that this town would hold a door of opportunity for the work to move into northern Sudan, the ultimate goal of Pastor Josh's vision from the Lord. The journey so far has not been completely easy or without its share of disappointments and setbacks. However, I'm reminded of something my pastor shared once. He was referencing 1 Corinthians 16:9, where Paul was writing from Ephesus telling them his visit there would be delayed because a great door for effective work has been opened to me, and there are many who oppose me. Opposition comes with opportunity. There's certainly no question that the opportunity for effective work has been opened. With the volatile situation in Sudan, it's uncertain how long this door will remain open, so we must continue to move aggressively. As we boarded the tiny return charter to leave and again drew an inquisitive crowd, my heart was filled with mixed emotions. It was sad and overwhelming that the Sudanese need was so great, yet there was definitely a smile on my face. I had something to smile about. It was a smile erupting from a deep satisfaction that for those whose lives we were able to touch, we were leaving Sudan a better place filled with hope. It was a hope that through our demonstration of God's love and revelation of His gospel, Sudan might realize transformation and the lost encounter life-changing experiences.
Say, I am not forgotten.